guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen, and today's video is going to be my September wrap-up and my October TBR. Now usually I do these videos separately. I don't even do TBR videos just because I just can't stick to a TBR list for the month. I usually tend to change my mind. I tend to go with my feelings for what I want to read next. But for the month of October, there are so many books that in my TBR pile that I really have to read. I really don't have a choice. I can't push them back, and I wanted to go ahead and share those books with you guys. And also for my wrap up, I only read 2 books in the month of September, so let's go ahead and get started with my September wrap up first. So for the month of September, the first book that I read is The Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series, and this book, although it looks thin, it's 700 pages, and it took me almost 2 weeks to read this book. Yeah, I just kept putting it off. I got really lazy with reading in September. I honestly did not have high expectations for this book. If you watched my August wrap up, then you know that I read The Queen of Shadows that month, and it is by far my least favorite books in the series. I did not like Queen of Shadows as much as I liked all the other books. Just the characterization was very off in that book. I hated Selena in that book, and I really disliked Rowan. I was just like wondering what was happening with all these characters. It felt so off, and so I went into this book not expecting a whole lot. I was expecting not to like this book, or to pretty much dislike it as much as I disliked Queen of Shadows. However, this book took me by surprise. I rated this book 4 stars because I really had a lot of fun reading this book. Honestly, I still don't like Rowan. Rowan is by far one of my least favorite characters in this whole series, and I don't have a lot of positive things to say about Selena / Aelin. I just don't connect with her anymore. But what saved this book for me was not only the storyline, but also the side characters. Man and Lysandra, Elide, Adian, they all saved this book for me. Dorian, they were all fantastic. The plot line of this series just keeps growing, and it keeps expanding, and it's just like blowing my mind in the direction that Sarah J. Maas has taken this story from the first book all the way up to this last book. There's so many feels with this book, but it was very good. A very solid, well-deserved 4 stars. Alright, and then the second and final book that I read in the month of September is Frost Like Night by Sarah Rosh. This is the 3rd and final book in the Snow Like Ashes trilogy, and let me just say, wow, it was absolutely brilliant. It was amazing. I loved the ending. It wrapped up nicely. I am very sad that this trilogy is over. I wish there were more books in this series. It was just amazing. From the very first book all the way to this last book, I loved every single minute. Of course, I gave this book 5 stars, as I gave 5 stars to the other 2 books in the series, and I will highly recommend it if you have not picked up Snow Like Ashes. Alright, so moving on to my October TBR, there are several books that I want to read this month, and I wanted to go ahead and share those with you guys. The first 2 books that I want to read is Illuminate and the sequel Gemini. Gemini is actually not coming out until later in October. However, this is the first book in the series, and I have not read it yet. Even though it was in my September TBR, I meant to read this in September, and I didn't. But it is a sci-fi series set in outer space. It's supposed to be really good. I've heard nothing but great things about the series. I originally was not planning on reading it because sci-fi is not a genre that I reach for a lot. However, the book club that I'm in, the BIBLIO squad, chose Gemini for the October book pick of the month, and so of course I have to read the first book before I read the second book. Alright, and then the next 3 books that I'm planning on reading in the month of October is actually 3 Goosebumps books from R.L. Stine, from the Goosebumps series by R.L. Stine. And if you guys watched my top 5 favorite childhood book series, then you know that the Goosebumps books was one of my favorite book series to read as a child. And if you know Richard from Books and Bullshit, he is actually hosting a Goosebumps read-along for this month, and of course I want to participate. So the books that he chose to read in the month of October is The Haunted Mask, The Headless Ghost, and The Ghost Next Door. So these are the 3 books that he picked, and we're gonna read 1 book each week for the month of October. And then at the end of each week, we're gonna go ahead and watch the episode for that particular book from the Goosebumps TV series. Yes, there was a TV series that was made many years ago off of the Goosebumps book series, and we are gonna go ahead and watch each episode at the end of the week after we finish reading that book. And I am so excited. I had not read a Goosebumps book in so long. It's been many years, and I'm very excited to get into the world again. I'm actually planning, are you ready for this, on buying every single Goosebumps books because I loved it that much. But it's gonna take me a while because there are hundreds of books, but I'm trying my hardest, and I am definitely planning on buying every single book because the nostalgia. Alright, and then the next book that I'm planning on reading in October is also the book that I was planning on reading in September, and of course I didn't, yeah. And it is The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Ahdieh. This is the sequel to The Wrath and the Dawn. The Wrath and the Dawn is a 1001 Nights retelling, and this is the sequel to that book, and I am so excited to read it. I really enjoyed the first book. I loved the writing style, and I really liked this story. I originally started reading this book, but after like 100 pages or so, I put it down because another book caught my attention, and I meant to come back to this book, but I didn't. That's how I am. I get distracted easily. So I am planning on reading this book this month. I definitely want to get to it because... Alright guys, so there you go. That is my September wrap up and my October TBR. I am not going to put any more books in my October TBR pile because it is already 6 books that I'm planning on reading. Although 3 of those books is the Goosebumps books, and those books are only about 100 to 120 pages or so, so they'll be really quick, easy reads. Anyways guys, let me know down in the comments below what books you're planning on reading for the upcoming month, October, and or let me know what books you read this past month that you really enjoyed. I would really love to know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. All of my social medias are linked down below, including Twitter, Instagram, or Goodreads if you would like to follow me. I hope to see you guys on my next video. Have a good day guys, and keep reading. Bye!